Welcome to Cultivated Live for Friday, April 26th. My name is Jay Rosenthal. I'm the co-founder of Cultivated Media and the host of this show, Cultivated Live. And since we launched in November, our goal at Cultivated has been to be cannabis industry first, providing you with the most important, insightful, and useful information on a daily basis. We do that through a daily newsletter called Cultivated Daily. We do that through this live stream called Cultivated Live. You can find us streaming on LinkedIn and on YouTube, but also please do subscribe to our daily newsletter. A link to all of that is below. Now let's get to what is driving the cannabis industry today because it's busy. Cannabis legalization is not associated with an uptick in teen use, according to a new study published in the Journal of the American Medical Association Psychiatry. The researchers performed a statistical analysis on 781 respondents of the Youth Risk Behavior Survey and found no association between states legalizing cannabis and more teens using cannabis. The researchers also found that retail cannabis shops did not lead to more teen use. It's yet another crucial data point, as we pointed out in our newsletter, that shows legalization policies are working as intended, at least keeping developing brains away from potentially harmful cannabis use. Here's why it matters. Measuring whether legalization has been a success or failure depends on the specific policy outcomes that lawmakers are trying to achieve. Here in Canada, Prime Minister Justin Trudeau, for example, specifically pushed for legalization in Canada as a response to that risk, keeping weed out of kids' hands. Studies show that teens say it's been harder to access cannabis after legalization. Now, to the White House. At an event with Kim Kardashian at the White House yesterday, Vice President Kamala Harris had this to say.
On marijuana, we have pardoned all people for federal convictions for simple marijuana possession. Many of you have heard me say it. I just don't think people should have to go to jail for smoking weed. And these pardons have been issued as an extension of that approach.
I agree. Kamala Harris. Thank you. It was quite a sight to see the Vice President and Kim Kardashian at a roundtable. I think it was in the Rosenthal room talking cannabis. Remember, this is the second time in about 3 weeks that the Vice President has been in the Rosenthal room talking cannabis. Other news, and this is important, a federal judge in Massachusetts will hear arguments on May 22nd for a lawsuit filed on behalf of a group of U.S. cannabis companies by star lawyer David Boies, firm that asserts that the federal government's prohibition of cannabis is unconstitutional. The Department of Justice said in a filing last month that Congress has the ability to regulate legal cannabis within states because it attracts out-of-state tourists. You can read Jeremy, our editor-in-chief's interview with one of the lawyers in this case on our newsletter. Go there at cultivated.news. Find it in today's newsletter. And a group of 21 lawmakers, including Senators Elizabeth Warren and John Fetterman, wrote a letter to the DEA and Department of Justice urging the DEA to promptly remove cannabis from Schedule 1, this according to a report in Huffington Post. It's been over 8 months since the DEA was directed by the Department of Health and Human Services to move cannabis to Schedule 3 from the most restrictive Schedule 1. The full text of the letter is also linked on cultivated.news in today's newsletter. That is it for today's Cultivated Live. We encourage you to subscribe to our newsletter at cultivated.news. Follow us on LinkedIn, smash the subscribe button on YouTube. We'll be back here Monday, 10 a.m. Eastern, right here on LinkedIn and YouTube. I will be streaming from Florida, so it'll be much warmer than it is here in my basement in Toronto. I'll be there Monday, 10 a.m. Eastern, again, right here, YouTube and LinkedIn. And buy cannabis at your local dispensary for the weekend. Have a great one, everybody.